Good morning and welcome to Zen Fits here in Blackstone, Virginia, the center of the world, but then you too are at the center of your world. We'll explain that later. Title of this talk is The Butcher and the Artist. The Butcher and the Artist, or our two ways of knowing, or our two minds. So we're going to meditate on this idea of how do we know, and we have two ways of knowing. And so in this Zen Fit, what I'm doing is creating the metaphor of the butcher and the artist as two ways of knowing. And we need to understand how to use both at the proper use one or the other at the proper time. But unfortunately, in our culture, the butcher is the dominant mind. Now, what is the butcher? Butcher basically chops. Look at a butcher with a table, and he's got a quarter steer on it, and he's going to chop that up into pieces. Good pieces, not so good pieces. Steak, whatever. In other words, the butcher is the discerning mind, the analytical mind that reduces everything, that chops everything up in order to arrive at first cause, or the one. So if you want to know if truth is like, well, what caused it? So there's a mass shooting. There's something happens and says, oh, what's the cause? Well, then the butchers go to work. And each one comes up with the first cause. Number one, you see. So it's all like trying to get down to number one. What is the first cause? Even religion, theology, Christianity of the Catholic Church was about God is the first cause. He is the unmoved mover. In other words, God causes everything, but he's not cause. He's the unmoved cause. So our intellect, we're made in the image of God. Well, we're made in the image of the butcher. So we want to chop reality up until we find the first cause of any particular situation. So if it's there's a mass shooting, well, that's not right. We want to restore order. We don't want that to happen. So what caused it? Well, if you're on the butcher on the left, you're going to come up with one cause for the shooting. If you're the butcher on the right, you'll come up with a different cause. So now we have a war of the butchers. Each one says, I got the one cause. If you remove that cause, boop, you remove the effect. If you remove the cause, you remove the suffering, the hurt. You remove the pain. You get back to zero. You get back to, comfort. No problem. We get back to no problem, you see, by removing the cause of the problems. So this is calling up the butcher to do that. It's really a mechanical way of thinking. We've been the modern mind, the modern world since the 16th century made the mechanic's mind the dominant mind because the world was viewed as a machine. The Newtonian world was a machine. The founding fathers saw the world as a clock, a machine, and they created the workings of the clock so it would run perpetually. Anyway, I don't want to get into that, but the idea is that the modern world basically sees the world as a machine. But the problem with that is that the mechanic is not in the machine. You see, the mechanic, we'll take a surgeon. The surgeon operates on a body that he looks at as a machine that has parts And if there's something, cancer, you remove that part and restore 0 or 1, you see. So that's very successful. We've created a whole, humanity has created, the Western mind with this butcher has created a world of amazing comforts and machines. This computer we're talking on here is a machine, because it's an electronic machine. It's not the old industrial machine with steam and all of that, but it's a machine, and we understand its parts, so if something goes wrong, there's a problem, you call up the mechanic. And basically, he works logically to find the cause of your discomfort and removes it. It's very simple. So we're just kind of like putting it into a butcher. Now, what is the artist? Why is the artist mind? These are two ways of knowing. Two operating systems of the same computer. I remember during the computer wars between Mac and Windows back in the 90s, I guess, there was the war going on, PC, the Mac man and the PC man, and Mac came out with, we'll just put both systems on the same machine. So you could be in a Windows, or click, you could be in a Mac operating system. Two different operating systems. And it's interesting that the Mac, the genius of Steve Jobs, was to advertise and promote and create a machine that was intuitive. That's what they described. It was artistic. It created new wholes. But the Windows machine, the PC machine, bow tie, kind of intellectual guy, academic guy, it was a very intellectual machine, had a lot of different parts, you were very analytical, very logical. While the Mac machine was supposed to be the artist's machine. So you could integrate new functions and create new wholes, fluid, easy, leaping, artistic. So the artistic mind is inclusive. The artistic mind integrates whatever is happening. If you're an artist, you integrate what's given into a new vision, a new idea, a new invention, a new work of art. You see, that work of art works inclusively. It doesn't exclude. It takes new things that are given and includes them into a new whole. Now, the butcher mind, the analytical mind, works on reduction. When it reduces everything down to the one cause, the simple one. So it reduces, it's reductionist, it's exclusive. This is not it, this is not it, this is not it, cut that, throw that off. That's the butcher's cutting away the fat. He's going to get rid of that, cuts it off, cuts away. He cuts the whole, if the butcher wants a piece of steak, he's got to cut the whole cow away to get that one piece of steak, you see. The one, so it's exclusive. But the artist's mind works in the opposite direction, inclusive. So both are working to get the one, to be the one. The butcher works to get the one by reducing, getting all that is not one out of the way. Get all the impediments, you get all the fat, you get all the not one, the impurities out of the way till you get down to the one. That is the pure original. It is the one. It cannot be divided. That was why in science, before quantum and everything, the idea in science, back to the Greeks, was to arrive at the atom. that could not be divided. It wanted to get to the one that could not be divided. You see, so it was always getting rid of everything, all the impediments, to that original one, and there could not be divided. That would be the first cause. But the artist moves in the opposite direction. What one does he want to arrive at? Well, he wants to arrive at the whole, a new whole. That's the one. So if you see an artistic work, you see, it may integrate all these different parts into one whole. And sometimes you don't see the whole, so you stare at it and you look at it, and then suddenly, aha! Social media, Facebook's full of all these little games, little puzzles, can you see the monkey? And suddenly you work, oh, I can't see the monkey, where is it? Oh, there is the monkey. A new whole, you see. So you didn't arrive at the monkey by chopping up the picture. You arrived at the monkey by relaxing the butcher and allowing the artist mind to open the new whole, you see? So the butcher is effort, and the artist mind is no effort. The butcher mind tries, cut. I got to get to the one that cannot be divided, the true cause. So if we want to get to the cause of gun shooting, of mass shootings, in the butcher mind, you want to arrive at the one cause of it. And of course, on the left, the butchers on the left will arrive at a different cause. But both see that cause as the true cause, you see. But now you got two causes. Anyway, I'm just trying to bring it into a current historical moment where these two minds are constantly working. So the artistic mind is a creative mind because it creates new wholes that never existed before. So you see a work of art, it's not like it was a reproduction. If it was a reproduction of a previous work, you see, or in the genre of that particular tradition, it's all that. But when some artist creates a totally new art, at first it's kind of rejected because it doesn't fit. But then suddenly more and more people see a new vision, a new way of knowing. And suddenly that art then becomes a Picasso. It becomes a new movement, a new way of seeing, a new way of knowing, you see. So the artist creates a new way of knowing, and the butcher doesn't create a new way of knowing. He just wants to fix the problem. He just wants to find the cause of what's known. And the artist works in what's unknown. So both minds, we have both minds, but our problem is our culture, our mechanistic culture, our materialistic culture, which has been so successful in creating comfort in machines, you see, believes that's the dominant way to know. And the artistic way, the artist way, oh, well, that's entertaining, but it's not useful. Art isn't useful. I mean, it is useful if you want to buy it and sell it or make some money off of it, but art in itself is useless. But the butcher works in what's useful. Well, what's useful in fixing this machine? Don't dawdle, don't doodle. Be useful. But the artist is doing the opposite way. He's working in the useless. Anyway, I'm just playing with these two ideas, the butcher and the artist, that both are our ways of knowing, but one is dominant over the other, and this one sleeps. You see. So our first responder in life, in our culture, is the butcher. And the artist is there, but he's sleeping because these two viewpoints are incompatible. You can't have both at the same time. You can't cut the cow apart and have the whole cow at the same time. You see, the butcher and the artist are incompatible ways of knowing. So what is Oh wait, what is a Zen fit? Zen fit, my metaphor, is when you're able to have both ways of knowing at your disposal, and you use them when it's appropriate for the situation. If you want to fix the computer, you use the butcher. If you want to create a new idea on the computer, you use the artist, you see. Each needs the other. But who is it that holds them both together? Who is it that, you see? Well, that, you see, cannot be found by either the butcher or the artist. You are unknowable by either the artistic way or the butcher's way. And this is the discovery of Zen, and traditions like Zen, is that you are I am, and I am is an explosion of knowing. And that knowing can use either the butcher's way or the artist's way. Whichever is appropriate. Whichever works. Thanks for dropping in.